All right, party people. It is Wednesday, July the 16th. Let's get this party started, right? Y'all are some like serious party animals. We are spiritual party animals. That's what we are. Yeah. Yeah. Um so yesterday was the 15th. So much happened yesterday. Um I think there's two main focuses on why I was given that one date in particular. And then don't forget about July the 23rd. Um, but before I get into that, let's give a shout out to my two additional uh, voluntary timestamp bandits. Aren't they great? Like they're filling in for the original timestamp bandit who is very busy right now. She's just got a busy period in her life and just can't do it right now. Um, we love her dearly and we miss her. But we also are very thankful for the two timestamp bandits. And I alternately pin them to the top of the comment section so they sort of get equal play. Um, just to be fair about it, since there's two of them that do it. But anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate it very much. And someone said to me, "Oh, I think it's great that you're allowing people to timestamp your content. A lot of creators don't like when that's done. Why? I don't. Why wouldn't anyone like that? I'm really curious. Um, I love it. I love it because sometimes, you people want to listen to different things. Like not everybody's going to want to hear every single thing I have to say, and I'm very aware of that and very conscious of that. So they can just go listen to what they want when they want. I don't even want to listen to myself. Okay, so I don't blame you if you just want to hear what you just want to hear. Um, but do the best for you. If you want to listen to the whole thing, great. But if not, most of my videos now are timestamped by someone. And all I ask is that you get into the habit of liking them because I want us to like, especially our political, courageous people out there. I want you to like their stuff. That's kind of been like this little mission of mine. Um, Keep liking their stuff because they're putting out um, the truth about what's going on. We don't want to lose their voices and they're keeping us informed. And so just like their stuff, it takes like 2 nanoseconds to do it. But what it does, it helps their stuff go out, to others that so that they can hear it. And so, if anything, I just ask that you just get into the habit of liking that, um, and then we can keep hearing these voices and from these other great people. And that's no matter what platform you're on, whether it's YouTube, TikTok. I don't do Instagram, but and I don't do Twitter or X or whatever it is. But anytime someone is out there putting out the truth, just like them, just like them. Okay, so let's go give some of the news, good stuff that kind of happened, or funny as far as I'm concerned. But Don the Con got booed at the FIFA World Cup ceremony, right? And it was glorious to hear because this is an international audience. Okay, this is not an American um, like audience, right? So these people, they were not MAGA, and it was nice to hear that these people know what the United States is dealing with in this man, and that gave him the correct, uh, I'll say, welcome. But I just thought it was really, he had a lot of gall taking their trophy. Okay, that was just unbelievable. The United States didn't win. Um, it just wasn't his to take. So that was typical tacky and, narcissistic move on his part. The Department of Education, um, the Supreme Court made that ruling, but it's not exactly a dismantling of the Department of Education like it's sort of been portrayed on the news, because I've listened to a couple different lawyers break it down. What the Supreme Court did was give Don the Khan's administration the right to fire a certain amount of people. Okay. Um, so it's not like, oh, we wake up like next week and the Department of Education is gone. No, that is not what it is. And anybody that's really interested should go get like a good breakdown. Hawk on YouTube gives a very good breakdown of it. And there's a few others, but he's the political commentator. He's a lawyer himself. But so it's not like it's going to be vanished. But I also got that this whole action by them, the firing of the people and them trying to dismantle it, will be very cloudy. It's not going to be clear cut for them, and it's not going to go the way they think. And it looks like it's just going to be kind of tied up in all kind of legal gibberish. Okay, so that should be interesting to hear. And already 24 states are suing, um, not over that, but are suing this administration to release funds that were allocated by Congress, um, for education. And it looks like they're going to probably win that. So that's sort of a little bit separate than the Supreme Court ruling. But I just see that I don't see the Department of Education being non existent. I still see it's going to exist, maybe in a little bit different form, but it's still going to be there, and it's not going to be as gutted as they want it to be. Okay? Um, the How about ICE vehicles getting towed? Isn't that cute? That's so cute. So they're just pulling up different locations, parking anywhere, trying to grab people. And there's tow truck drivers that are following them and they're towing their vehicles. Wow. Okay. Uh, I told you guys at the beginning of the month that from like July the 2nd on, for about a couple of weeks, we'd have major chaos, and we are still experiencing a lot of that chaos. So much stuff has happened. I can't even begin to go over all of it here. Nobody wants me to, but it's still a very chaotic period, and I think it's going to be that way definitely until at least up to the 25th. And when I say chaos, I mean weather related, I mean people related, doing strange, weird things happening, especially of the paranormal. Okay. Um, a lot of stuff that we haven't kind of been dealing with. And here's one, for example, the gentleman who had been escorting the Annabelle doll, the doll that they say is possessed. Um, he just abruptly passed yesterday, the 15th. That was one of the things that happened on the 15th. Just abruptly out of the blue. He's only 54 years old, I believe, and he just passed. He bought the doll to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and just They don't know why he passed yet. And now remember, guys, um, I know what everyone is saying about this doll being possessed, but you have to remember possession can only be successful if there are the energies are vibrating at the same type of level as the entity that's trying to possess. Meaning that only those who have similar frequencies of the spirit that is trying to possess someone, if their frequencies match, can a possession occur. Having a core of love, okay, and when I say core, I mean that your deepest most desire is just to connect, to be with, to resonate with divine love. If that is your innermost desire, that automatically elevates you. And you cannot be possessed by something of a lower type of entity. Okay? You can't be affected by it. They are invisible to you, you are invisible to them. Okay? It's like oil and water. Okay? So if your core is centered on love, divine love, no possession can happen. Yes, it can happen to those who are who vibrate at that hate state, who vibrate at that um, very lower type of energy. Okay, because what happens also is those who are, you know how we say a person is evil to their core, right? Their core is just putrid and hateful. Don the Con is a perfect example, okay? Typically, what happens is your spirit guides sort of go into hibernation mode with you, okay? They do not protect you per se, they are not as attentive to you. And you're just kind of sort of flailing around in life on your own, basically. Not completely alone. They don't abandon you, but you're not as protected. Okay. Um, and so you're kind of left up to your own sort of devices almost. Not completely, okay, but to a very large extent. All right. So, someone like that whose core is putrid will attract and can attract those uh, evil type of energies. So, but obviously this gentleman, and I believe his name is Dan Rivera, he chose this time to die, to go, to pass. Um, I can't say whether he was um, at the same level of a possession for that to occur, anything like that. It's probably very coincidental um, that it happened. I have not really kind of looked into it, but I people were mentioning it, so that's why I'm mentioning it. Um, okay, we all know that Republicans blocked the bill against attaching the amendment to release the Epstein files. So they are very complicit in this whole Epstein mess. But the funniest thing is Mike Johnson now wants is calling for transparency. Um, and he's supposed to be very rattled that, Don the Con and Pam Bondi wouldn't release the files, and it's just really disturbing him and this and that. Yeah, that amongst all things disturbs you, but all the hundreds of other things that he's done doesn't bother you. So I'm kind of taking that with sort of a grain of salt. Salt. Uh, the Mount St. Hood and Mount Rainier, um, as of yesterday, the July the 15th, there has been over 200 earthquakes in that area. So I want to say, people are talking about the animals fleeing. Well, the animals do a normal migration every year. Okay, so I don't know if that's so spectacular, but this seismic activity is spectacular. And it is out of the ordinary. Yes, there are typically earthquakes in that area, but nothing like we've seen before as far as the amounts. And what I see is that there's a lot of seismic activity going on across the globe. There's a big um, seismic adjustment happening, and there will be a super big 8.0 and maybe more earthquake um, somewhere around the world. And I almost see wherever it occurs, there's a large body of water around. Okay. And I can't get any more specific than that, but I do hope that it occurs in the ocean and not on a land based volcano. But I do see a 8 point something occurring. And that is, if you check, I of course haven't checked them all, but there is a lot of seismic activity going on in so many different mountainous regions throughout the world. Okay, it's the Earth is readjusting itself, and then last week we talked about the ocean doing sort of like a reversing. It's Earth is alive, and she's doing her thing. Okay, she's doing her thing. Um, so And one more thing, Neptune being retrograde in Aries, Neptune also rules water. Okay? And I've talked about this the last two videos, but Neptune being in retrograde status, there's going to be a lot of water related type of issues. Okay? Storms, floods, gaseous activity, tornadoes, hurricane type of events. Okay, this is kind of what we have going on right now. Okay, um, let's see. Democrats. Okay, on the 15th, all this happened. Josh Hawley introduced legislation to halt future cuts to Medicaid. Okay, that happened yesterday on the 15th. Okay, if you also remember my prediction regarding the Medicaid cuts, I saw that there'll be chunks taken out of it and somehow um, backtrack. There's chunks going to be taken out. So this is one of those already happening. Okay, and I gave the time frame by November. A lot of it would be voted out or somehow, however Congress does it. I don't know, but it will be. So he introduced that just yesterday. So that's very important. Democrats also introduced a bill to take out the gambling provision. So, what Republicans did was if you gambler, and as a gambler, I know this, if you gamble and if you win, let's say for instance, you win $10,000, if you're able to, you can write off 10,000 in losses. Okay, well, you can write off 100% of your winnings. In this big ugly bill, Republicans put the provision that Um, you can only write off now 90%, so the other 10% you have to pay taxes on. Democrats introduced a bill to take out that gambling provision that was put into the bill. Republicans blocked it initially, okay, but it's going to be reintroduced. So let's hope that gets passed some kind of way. Now, here's some other super big news that happened on the 15th, okay? Metadata was found that showed that it was not 1 but 3 minutes that were edited and missing from the raw footage of Epstein's prison cell. So some forensic scientists went in and discovered through looking at the metadata that it wasn't a minute missing. It was actually 3 minutes and some seconds missing from the raw footage. Okay. And they said the way it was crafted, they did try to hide it. Okay. So that to me is fascinating. 3 minutes is an extremely long time if you need to do something quick, bad, and in a hurry. Okay. It's a long time. Okay. Certainly enough to do what they needed to do. All right, so that's pretty big. Also, yesterday, uh, Elon posted. All he said was there was a bedroom in the back of the plane. That's very interesting in so many different ways. That says a lot, and that tells you that he's not effing around. He's going after the jugular on this on Don the Con. So that was posted on X. Like I said, I am not a subscriber of X. I do not look at it. However, from very reliable sources, and it's actually in the news too, that's what he posted, and that's very damning, very damning. Just one other thing, I know I've told you guys way back that Don the Con was being treated for something, and we've seen the catheter outline imprint on his pants. Um, and we've also seen the leg braces imprint on his pants. However, have you guys seen? Look at the FIFA World Cup footage of Don the Con. His hands are incredibly swollen, but even more so, his ankles. It looks like he has severe edema. I have been saying and seeing he is being treated and has been being treated for something for a long time now. And I wish they would just come out and be honest with it. This man is like a walking sick festival. Um, so go check out that footage. It's gruesome, but it's very telling. Okay. Okay, as I was trying to restart that video because I paused to take a look at my notes, I clicked the wrong button and ended it. So I'm going to have to kind of mesh these two together. Typical Mercury retrograde, which remember, folks, we are in now solidly. Okay. That's the kind of stuff that happens during Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde forces you to be uber, ultra careful. Okay? And if not, it will mess you up like it messed me up. So you're going to notice probably a few different little gaps in here. I am no video tech expert, so God forbid what it's going to look like. Just bear with me, please. But I wanted to I looked at my notes just to make sure I kind of covered everything regarding uh, what's going on. Vance and his wife were spotted publicly having a huge spat. Okay. And this is not the first time that they have been um, spotted arguing in public. They just had one, I believe it was at Disneyland or Disney World. They were at one of the Disney parks. But before, um, there was an article written because Usha Vance is apparently a very accomplished woman, and she's had to kind of take a backseat role now that her husband is um, the VP. But he's also like sort of a psycho when it comes to, like a psycho MAGA Christian nationalist when it comes to women. Like, they have their place and this and that. And she's kind of not into that. So there was an article written about that out there. I don't know who wrote it. I actually just saw snippets of it, so I'm sorry. But it's out there, and there's kind of big discontent. So I've already told you guys several times. He is going to be very distracted with family issues, family problems. Um, and I'm sure this is going to be one of them. It sounds like it kind of already is one of them. But that should be very interesting. Let's see. And I think I covered everything as far as I kind of wanted to talk about and what is going on. So, something I wanted to kind of talk about real briefly today, as far as on the spiritual side, is revenge. Okay. Um, Several different people have written to me, I'd say within the last month or so, about stuff being done to them and when is this gonna person gonna get their due? And even you guys telling me about the president. When is he gonna get his due? And and when I tell you he already is in so many ways, it's not even funny. He really is. Um, those energies we put out, no matter what kind of energies they are not static. They are vibrant. They are constantly flowing. Okay? And I always tell you guys that the universe must balance. The universe is perfect harmony. It is the null state. Null means there's no, it's perfect, okay? So anytime anything is put out in one excessive way or another, the universe not must, but will balance that, okay? And it's always a return to the sender, okay? And, you know, the way it keeps track is just beyond brilliant and is proof of a sort of a much higher intelligence than we could even imagine, okay? But revenge is only creates, honestly, a energy path for you that you will eventually have to compensate for, okay? um Everyone, no one can escape the energies put out, whether they're what we call good energies, positive energies, or bad energies. No one escapes. No one. There's a continuous flowing loop from our spiritual selves out that comes right back to us. It's like the Australian boomerang, right? The Aborigine boomerang. Okay, you shoot it out, and you never know exactly when it's coming back, right? but it always returns to sender. The best thing anyone can do, okay, is realize that everyone will get their due, okay, eventually at some point, and release that. Release that from yourself. Secure in the knowledge they will get their due. No one, like I said, can escape it. No one can sidestep the energies of the universe. No one can opt in or opt out, okay, until that null state is reached. And that is also the reason why so many of us choose to come, whether it be here at Earth or in other existences, that why we choose to keep coming back and just um, experiencing different type of energies, different type of experiences, different type of situations, okay, in order to round out those square edges, okay, in order to have our energies balanced, okay, and I've told you guys several times, but I'll keep saying this, in that this is one of the most difficult places we can incarnate to. It is not the most difficult. Okay. I don't care what anyone says. It is not. I know this for a fact. It is not the most difficult place we can incarnate to. But it is a difficult one. Okay. Because this is where everything is dense and harsh, and you can feel things immediately, instantly. Okay. And it is the perfect atmosphere for working out those issues so that we can harmonize our energies into that perfect null state of balance and harmony. Okay, a lot of people say it's a prison planet. um, I guess to some it would seem like it. um, and to others it seems like a joy. Okay, so I wouldn't completely call it a prison planet. There are planets that are strictly prison like, I would say 100%. Okay, Earth is not it. Earth is not that complete 100% prison. Now of course, excuse me, um, we if you stay here, it can seem like a prison because, hey, I want to leave and you can't, so yeah, that seems like a prison. But technically, it is not a 100% prison planet, okay? Because you can experience the different things, the good things, the happy moments, the satisfying moments, the joyous moments, okay? This is where you can experience the entire um, realm of the emotional state that humans can experience, right? In so many different ways. So, back to revenge. All you're doing, even by, um, you may not do anything physically as far as putting in the actions to get someone back per se, okay, but you're wishing it on them. That also too creates an energetic karmic type pattern, okay, and that's something you also want to steer clear of. All right. um so long story short, that person has already cemented the revenge you wanted for them. They've already cemented that for themselves. And when the universe does things, it does it a lot better than you ever could imagine in ways that you would never have thought of, okay? And it will affect that person much more specifically than you could ever even think of, okay? I have had, I'll just say this, immediate family members really do a number on me. And not just once or twice, but kind of over and over and over, culminating in a really, not good thing. And it cut me to my core, hurt tremendously, and even super angered me. Super duper angered me. Okay. And, to the point where it would have been very easy for me not only to exact my revenge and to get them, um, but I could even see myself feeling happy about it. Okay, but I intentionally chose not to do that, not to go that route, and not only because divine love is my number one priority, because it is completely, but also because I know how these universal energies work. I know how their actions have already put them in line for a return of those energies they try to inflict on me. I already know that. And I've actually already seen it to some extent. And it's almost made me feel almost sorry for them in a sense. And I know that the universe is not even done with them. But that is the best thing I can do for them is mentally um, just send them love. Neutral, but send them love, and I've released it. I do not deal with them in any capacity at all. And that is what I chose for myself, and it's best for myself. Because, like I've told you guys before, the universe requires kindness, and that includes towards yourself. If you are not kind towards yourself, that is exactly like being unkind towards another. As far as the universe goes, it interprets that. Okay, so um, I have not and will not seek revenge. I just, I have to live my life. I have to live the highest way I can and keep going on from there. And I know that, whatever happens to them, that will be their situation they will have to deal with. Okay? So I hope that helps those that are just burning with revenge. Okay? Because it only creates, like I said, a situation where you will have to eventually be accountable for that revengeful act or actions. You've set up a whole new karmic cycle for yourself. All right? It's unnecessary, not needed. All right, guys, so thanks for tuning in, and I hope to be back soon. And I just really appreciate all you guys' comments and all your loving remarks, um, and all the interesting, sometimes funny things you say, compliments you give. Just General love. You guys are your stadiums, your oceans of love. You really are. Take care until we see each other again.